Welcome to Last Week in Multimodal AI, your weekly roundup of all things multimodal AI. This week, open weight models reached parity with proprietary systems on long-horizon engineering benchmarks, fusing these capabilities into a production-ready utility layer. We are looking past simple chat interactions toward the ability to execute autonomous, multi-hour engineering tasks without human intervention. Three distinct developments established this new baseline over the past 7 days. First, LLM agents transitioned from reactive assistants into systems capable of running 13-hour coding workflows. Second, the definition of a world model shifted from generating pixel-based video clips to exporting persistent, editable 3D engine assets. Third, the cost of high-fidelity voice AI collapsed, turning a premium service into a programmable, low-cost utility. This week's data points to AI functioning as a modular infrastructure layer for developers. Developers have historically used proprietary models like Claude Opus 4.6 and GPT 5.4 as the primary reference points for complex tool-using tasks. Moonshot AI challenged that baseline this week with Kimi K2.6, a mixture of experts model scaling to 1 trillion parameters. On the HLE full benchmark, which measures long-horizon reasoning with tools, Kimi scored a 54.0. That places it ahead of both GPT 5.4 at 52.1 and Claude Opus 4.6 at 53.0. Visualized here, benchmark scores are compared to active parameters. Despite 1 trillion total parameters, Kimi activates only 32 billion, enabling 13-hour autonomous coding with 4,000 tool calls. Meanwhile, Alibaba's Qwen 3.635B targets single GPU setups, scoring 73.4 on Swaybench Verified while utilizing just 3 billion active parameters. This efficiency is enabled by a new architectural feature called thinking preservation. Thinking preservation retains reasoning traces across conversation turns. Instead of regenerating its logic on every prompt, the agent loop reuses previous chains of thought. By localizing this logic to a single GPU, Qwen bypasses the compute overhead typically required for long-horizon agent loops. NVIDIA's Nematron 3 Super reflects this same trend, using a hybrid Mamba transformer architecture to maintain a 120 billion total to 12 billion active parameter ratio. Open-source models are reaching frontier parity by hyper-optimizing how active parameters route through continuous workflows, rather than relying on brute force scaling. In parallel with code agents, the technical definition of a world model has evolved. Legacy generative video models produce 2D pixel arrangements that lack structural persistence after playback. Tencent's HY World 2.0 and NVIDIA's Lyra 2.0 generate persistent, explorable spatial assets instead of flat video files. This side-by-side schematic shows the legacy flow versus the new HY World 2.0 pipeline, which routes through 4 structural stages. The final open-source stage, World Mirror 2.0, outputs editable meshes, point clouds, and 3D Gaussian splats that drop directly into Blender, Unity, and Unreal Engine. NVIDIA Lyra 2.0 uses the logic in this split-screen model. The top illustrates spatial forgetting, where geometry loses structure. Lyra solves this with per-frame geometry routing continuous structural data, and a self-augmented training loop that feeds degraded outputs back to reinforce spatial rules. These architectural adjustments allow a single reference image to generate a persistent, explorable 3D world. Motif Video 2B takes a different approach, using flow-matching Dike architecture to maximize 2D video quality at low parameter counts. While 2D generators like Motif and WAN 2.1 maintain higher temporal stability for complex subjects like human anatomy, they remain disconnected from 3D engines. The industry is moving from prompting for visual inspiration to prompting for production-ready geometry. While 3D generation becomes more complex, audio generation is becoming a commoditized utility. The primary catalyst for this is xAI, which released the public Grok voice APIs. This bar chart matrix shows legacy API providers being undercut by utility-priced models. Grok's pricing sits at 10 cents an hour for batch speech-to-text and $4.20 per million characters for text-to-speech, marking up to a 92% cost reduction compared to previous leaders. Google's Gemini 3.1 Flash TTS focuses on a different aspect of utility: programmatic control. Gemini shifts text-to-speech from an unpredictable output into a deterministic tool that follows a production brief. Using over 200 bracketed inline commands, developers can force the model to obey per-sentence direction, like whispers or happy. This combination of low latency and programmatic tagging prepares voice generation for integration into autonomous agentic frameworks. These developments form a cohesive ecosystem where open-weight MOEs handle reasoning, spatial models generate geometry, and scalable APIs manage audio. This unified system schematic illustrates how these components function collectively. Data from a QN agent loop routes into Unreal Engine to populate AI world meshes, while Gemini bracket tags dictate the audio. These functions integrate into a continuous automated software pipeline. Success is no longer defined by the quality of a standalone media file designed for human viewing. The new metrics are long-horizon engineering performance and integration with professional production software. Open-source models are reaching parity with proprietary systems, establishing a new floor for raw engineering utility.